Long ago, at the foot of a great mountain, a farmer walked across his field after a stormy night. Among broken branches and wet grass, he saw a large egg, bigger than any hen's egg. Curious and kind-hearted, he picked it up and carried it to his farm. At home, he gently placed the egg under one of his hens. Days passed, and finally, the egg cracked. Out came a strange-looking chick, bigger claws, sharper eyes, and wide wings. The farmer's children laughed. "This chick looks funny. Its feathers are not soft like the others." But the farmer smiled and said, "It's just different. Let it grow." And so the little eagle grew up among chickens. He scratched the ground for food, pecked at grains, and followed the flock. But deep inside, he always felt something was missing. As he grew older, his wings stretched wider than any chicken's. "Look at him," the rooster crowed. "He thinks he's special, but he can't even fly like us." The hens clucked. "Don't try to be different. Stay on the ground, like all of us. The sky is dangerous." The young eagle lowered his head. Every time he saw other birds flying freely above the fields, his heart raced. Something inside whispered, "You belong there." But the voices of the chickens grew louder. "Don't even think about it. You're too heavy. You're not meant for the sky." And so he obeyed. He learned to stay low, to hide his wings, to pretend he was just another chicken. Years passed. The eagle's body became stronger, but his spirit weaker. He often climbed on a rock and stretched his wings, feeling the wind push against them. For a moment, he imagined what it would feel like to rise. But then, the fear came. What if I fall? What if they laugh at me? What if they were right all along? One afternoon, a strong wind swept through the field. The chickens panicked, running in circles, hiding under bushes. But the eagle felt something different. The wind didn't scare him, it called him. Still, he stayed, because staying seemed safer than trying. That night, he couldn't sleep. He looked at the moon and whispered, "Why do I feel like I was made for something else? Why do I feel like I don't belong here?" The next morning, a storm gathered above the valley. Dark clouds rolled, lightning flashed, thunder roared. The chickens shrieked, running everywhere in fear. Suddenly, from the sky, a majestic old eagle appeared, gliding effortlessly through the storm. His wings sliced through the winds. His eyes shone with power. The young eagle watched in awe. For the first time, he saw what he could be. The old eagle circled lower, and with a voice that thundered louder than the storm, he shouted, "You there! Why are you crawling on the ground?" The young eagle hesitated. I am just a chicken. I can't fly like you." The old eagle's eyes burned with wisdom. "Who told you that lie? Look at your wings. Look at your claws. You were never meant for the ground. You belong to the sky." "But what if I fall?" the young eagle whispered. The old eagle answered, "If you never try, you will never know who you are. The storm you fear is the very wind that will lift you higher." The young eagle looked at the frightened chickens running in circles. Then he looked at the storm, wild and powerful, waiting above. His heart pounded. Slowly, he opened his wings. The wind roared against them, almost knocking him back. Fear screamed inside him. "Stop! Stay on the ground!" But another voice, deep, strong, true, whispered, "Fly!" With a cry that shook his very soul, the young eagle leapt into the air. At first, he wobbled. The storm pushed him side to side. But then, something changed. The wind caught his wings. Instead of falling, he began to rise. Higher and higher he soared, cutting through the clouds, above the thunder, above the fear. The storm that scared the chickens became his strength. From the sky, he saw the world as he had never seen it before. Mountains stretching endlessly, rivers sparkling like silver, forests vast and alive. His heart cried with joy, "All my life I thought I was small, but I was born to touch the heavens." The old eagle flew beside him and said, "Remember, young one, the ground was never your home. You were born for the sky." From that day forward, the young eagle never looked back at the chickens who laughed at him. He no longer scratched the earth. He soared above it, and every storm that came after, he welcomed it, for he knew storms were not to be feared. They were the winds that carried him to his destiny. Don't let the world convince you that you are smaller than you are. The voices that hold you down are only echoes of fear. Spread your wings, face the storm, and rise.